Welcome to the Sit Down with your host, Joey Raymond. Today on the show, we welcome in Stanley Tucker. Last year, he was playing for the Salem Red Sox, the single A affiliate of the Boston Red Sox, from Richmond, Texas, correct? Right?
Correct.
Awesome. Yeah, and I mean your journey pretty straightforward. You started in JUCO and just absolutely just demolished. I was reading these numbers and I legitimately like jaw to the floor because they're video game numbers. 407 with 17 homers. Come on, bro. Like that's insane. That is absolutely insane. And then went over to Texas A&M, and then you get drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the 19th round of the 23 draft. And then you end up in Salem. So being from Texas, the obvious first question that, I would be, a horrible journalist if I didn't ask. You're from Texas. What's the go-to in Buc-ee's? Like,
Oh man, anytime you go on a trip or past a Bucky's, got to go in. And first of all, you can't forget your shopping cart. I mean, you go into a gas station, but you can't forget your shopping cart because I mean, it's a lot of stuff in there. But go to is always a brisket sandwich. Always, always. I need it.
absolutely. No, for me, it's the brisket. And then I got to get me some beaver nuggets. I don't know why, but they're
Oh
so
yeah,
good.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So tell me a little bit of like what it's like growing up in Texas, like the baseball scene down there. Obviously, it's super hot all the time. And,
hmm
you don't get a ton of snow, although, lately that might be debatable. But, I mean, tell me what it's like growing up in Texas and what the baseball scene is like.
Oh yeah, man. Growing up in Texas is pretty cool. It being from Houston. Houston is so big. You can drive an hour and a half and still be technically in Houston. So it's pretty big. There's a lot going on in certain places and certain scenes, but the weather is hot. It can get hot, but most of the time, and it's beautiful, beautiful baseball weather, and the competition in every sport is next to none. I mean, football, baseball, the AU basketball, the travel baseball, and shoot, now just looking at the competition in the different little leagues around my area with my little brother, like the competition is there, but it's fun, man, and have met so many people that have impacted my life here in Houston, and so grateful to just to be from here.
So, I mean, obviously, you play baseball. Did you play any other sports growing up?
I did. I was really, my first love was football. I loved football, basketball, and I played baseball. So growing up, I mean, when it was football season, all I did was play football. I always say now, when I came home, when it came August time, I would throw my baseball bag and my glove in the garage and wouldn't even touch it, wouldn't even look at it. I'll pick up a football and it'd be straight throwing a football around. And then basketball season came around, I was always dribbling a basketball around the house. And then basketball season ended, I threw the basketball in the garage and grabbed a baseball bag and would run out for baseball. So I didn't really just start focusing on baseball a lot more until around, I would say, my junior year, when I started kind of making the decision to go for baseball. But I mean, growing up, it was everything. It was football, baseball, and basketball.
So one of the peeves that I kind of have with, little league today is that, a lot of the kids are like, they're specializing so early.
hmm
And I really feel like playing other sports is very beneficial, as a player. I mean, I knew pretty quickly I wasn't going to be professional. I was hot garbage, but that's neither here nor there. But like those other sports, how much did those impact you in terms of like moving over to baseball and being able to, kind of translate some of the stuff that you learned in another sport to the
hmm
baseball diamond?
Oh, it was a huge impact, and I tell people now, is playing multiple sports is super beneficial, especially at a young age, because kind of looking at the younger age of sports now, football, basketball, they're different sports. Baseball is more rotational movements, strength in the core and rotation, but you have basketball, where it's a lot of changing direction and sliding and shuffling, and then you look at football, and football is more physical strength and athleticism. So I think playing multiple sports was big for me because it kind of taught it kind of teaches you how to be an athlete, teach you how to move your body in certain ways, how to be. See, if I want to be successful in this sport, I gotta move this way, I gotta move fast, I gotta do this. So then when I go to baseball, it's like, okay, well, I can take the athletic patterns and things and that I learned from football and put them on the baseball field. So I think playing multiple sports at a younger age is really beneficial, just on the athleticism side. You teach your body. You can teach it in the weight room, but you can also get that aspect in your game by just playing in the sports.
So when was it, you kind of said, kind of early high school, but like, when was it like, that moment where you realize like, hey, wait a minute, like I'm pretty good at this. I could be professional. Uh, did you have like one of those moments where it was just like, dang, like, this could be legit?
When I think back, I never really had just that moment where I was like, oh, okay, I this is what I'm gonna do. This is this, because I was so, like I said, strung into the routine of things. When it was football season, I was off for football, and then when it was baseball season, I was off for baseball. I would say though, when I kind of got to my junior year, that's when it was starting to have conversations on, okay, what does your future look like? What do you want to do first of all, and then what is the best route to get your college paid for? What is the best route to to pursue this at the next level? So I kind of, what happened was baseball. I spent a lot of extra time outside of school to play in the summers. And so all summer I was moving around with baseball, different camps, different showcases. And then I fell in love with the game. Like, I love the game at a young age, but I think those high school years really brought that love for the game out because of the competitions on everyone around the area of Houston, or everyone around the area of the United States, just playing baseball and going to traveling in the summers and things like that. I really didn't do anything football in the summer. I just played football for my school. And so I think that was the biggest turning point, was my junior year. And I went on my first visit for baseball. And after coming home for that, I was like, okay, now I think baseball is the route.
So going through and, you decide to play baseball and you go to JUCO and you do so well. Take me through what like playing in JUCO was like, and then, what it was like, talking to Texas A&M and eventually going there.
Mm-hmm. JUCO was fun, man. It was a lot of memories I have from junior college baseball. It was a grind. It really was. But just the memories from the teammates that I've had, the bonds that I made with the guys in JUCO is just next to none. And uh, just looking back in my second year in New Mexico, the doubleheader days, we were playing 2 games on Friday, 2 games on Saturday, in the middle of the day, because none of the fields had lights. It's 100 degrees outside in New Mexico, So, I mean, those days get long. They'll get tough here and there, but man, JUCO is some of the most fun I've had on the baseball field. And uh, coming into my second year, when I began talking to a lot of Division 1 programs and things like that, kind of, it was exciting talking to a program as prestigious as A&M. So, because my dream as a kid was to play in the SEC. So kind of just having that first phone call, and you answer the phone and it's Nolan Kane from Texas A&M. You're like, wow. So I think it was a surreal moment, surreal in that moment. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just memories. I was starting to come back.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when I think SEC baseball, like the first two programs that I immediately think of are Texas A&M and Mississippi State. Like those are
Hmm.
the two immediately that pop into my head. I mean, those
Hmm.
those are two very historical programs,
Right,
and so I
right.
can only imagine.
Hmm.
So you go through Texas A&M and then you get drafted by the Red Sox. How, like, take me through that process of like, just, I mean, even getting drafted. I mean, that's got to be so surreal.
Man, it was surreal. It was surreal. Kind of watching. watching the phone, looking at the rounds, and of course I got drafted in the 19th, and it was 20 rounds. So kind of, I think that entire draft kind of sitting on pins and needles, because you really don't know how to go. You're talking with your agent, and you're going back and forth, and it's kind of just you give it to God. You're just like just want to hear my name called, and I think finally just hearing my name called on that day was a blessing. It really was. Just the emotion, the pure just joy, because a lot of hard work leading up to that moment, and then name get called and you feel that joy, and then it's kind of like another snap. Like, okay, I got more work to do. But I think in that moment of that day, it was kind of a enjoyment of uh, a goal accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got to be pretty surreal. I mean, you're already in, single A ball. I mean, that's, pretty quick to move up. I mean, you drafted in 23 and,
Mhm.
you're immediately playing in single A. I mean, I gotta ask, as someone who lives here in Salem, what's it like playing in Salem?
It's fun. The park is tough. The park is tough. It's a
Yes.
big ballpark. It's a huge ballpark. But it's fun baseball, and the people, they're so loving. Great people around the stadium. They did a lot for us throughout the year. Um, the I mean, just going around in the different ballparks in that league was pretty sick. It's some super nice ballparks. I love the vintage ballpark of the Salem, Virginia. But it's been fun. It's been an experience.
Now, we'll go off on a slight tangent. As someone who's like traveled through most of the Carolina League, and I absolutely agree, the stadiums are incredible. And no
Hmm.
offense to Salem, I mean, after all, I live here. This is my home, and I love the vintage feel of that ballpark. But I mean, it's not even close to my favorite.
Right.
What has been your favorite ballpark that you've gotten to play in? And then you know what? Let's do the flip side of that too. What's the worst?
What's the word? um, I mean, I really like Salem, just because I'm more of an old school feel, So I love the vintage feel of the Salem ballpark. But another one that was really my favorite, I liked Columbia. We went to the Columbia Fireflies. That stadium was pretty nice. And then kind of the area around it, the fans, they were cool. I think that was a fun road trip for me. Um, the worst, I mean, every park was pretty good. Every park had its advantages and disadvantages. Um,
Maybe got to
I would say,
dive back deep to JUCO on that one. Maybe.
yeah, JUCO. We played in some spots in JUCO. We played in some spots. If I had to say any worst ballpark, it would be some of the parks in JUCO. But I think that added to the fun, the fun, because that's memories. It's memories. It's just baseball. It's really what it was. How bad you wanted to play baseball, how much you loved the game, and no matter the field, no matter the area, no matter the situation, we just wanted to go out and play ball. So.
Yeah, I mean, and absolutely. I mean, was there like a piece of advice that you got going through the ranks, and even maybe here in Salem, that you've gotten that's really kind of helped push the drive to
Hmm.
keep going?
Oh yeah, the drive to keep going is there. It's rooted in me, and in in my values, and things that I've had in me, although leading up to this point. That kind of just doesn't go away. You still want to, you have certain things you want to do it for your family, yourself. You think just certain things like that. But I would say key pieces of advice for me, leading up to this point, is just keep stacking days. Stack days on top of day. You get 1% better every single day. This game is hard. You're gonna fail a lot, and then you're gonna have good days. You're gonna have bad days. So, but going to the ballpark and leaving the ballpark feeling 1% better in anything, whether it's nutrition, play, practice, just finding something every single day to where you stack on top of the next, on top of the next, on top of the next. And then when you look back, like, okay, this is where I was, this is where I am now, and I'm gonna continue to keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking, and pretty much look up at the end, and when your career is said and done, and tell yourself, hey, I gave it all I had.
Is there a particular moment that you've had in your career that you kind of look back on and just cherish more than others?
Um, I've had a lot of great moments in my career. Um, and I've had a lot of bad moments in my career, and I cherish all of them because in in the good and the bad, there's something to learn. There's something to learn. There's something to grow from. There's something to take in every situation. So I think I cherish all the good and the bad memories because that made me into the person I am today and the player that I am today, and kind of had laid the foundation into the future. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's kind of dive into the actual play here. What I guess let's start with the routine, right? What's
hmm
the routine when you get to the ballpark? What's step one through as soon as first pitch, right?
Soon, soon as well, my routine starts a lot before, way before first pitch. If my routine started at first pitch, it would be a lot of bad nights. Uh, but I think my routine, it starts when I wake up in the morning. Wake up in the morning, and shoot, it starts when I wake up and make my bed up. That is tasks like that in the morning, doing every single morning, lay the foundation for the day. So I think that's a big thing, just kind of that morning routine at the house. And then I get to the field on a normal game time day. I get to the field a little early, around 12 o'clock to 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I'll do some kind of just some things to get my body prepared for the day. Most that's fueling and stretching, kind of some things in the training room. There's this hot tub to get warm for the day, and stretching routines, kind of things like that. And then you go through your routine throughout the day, whether it's defense, hitting before the game, scouting reports, things like that. All of that is done before the first pitch, and then once the game starts, game is started. You play the game, and then once the game is over with, and uh, you want to refuel, uh, try to get home and get into bed at a good amount of time, but get that night routine in, and then wake up and do it all over again the next day.
So, out of that routine, what do you think is the most underrated part of that routine?
Most underrated part of my entire routine. Oh, underrated part of my entire routine got to be brushing my teeth. Because if you don't brush your teeth in the morning, then you going around talking to everybody with bad breath, and that just then the vibes around you are bad. You can't have bad vibes around you. I feel like if you have bad, that's one of my fears, and I can't have bad breath around people. Because then people don't want to talk to you, and then you feeling singled out. You're like, wait, what's going on? It's your breath, man. I gotta brush my teeth.
All right. Hey, I was not expecting that answer, and I'm glad that I got it because that's awesome. All right. So let's, as we're going through the game, right? How do we stay mentally focused, on the game, but more specifically, like in intense moments? Because I know, especially last season, having been there pretty much every game that I could,
hmm
um, you know, you guys played a lot of really close games.
A lot.
And so, yeah, how do you guys stay focused on on the game during those intense moments?
Yeah, I think the biggest part of being ready for those tense moments is, like you said, just being focused the entire time. Is you can't really well, one thing that I like to go back to is or what I like to think of is, you don't prepare for the moment, or you don't get ready for the moment. You sink to the level you're training. So no matter what the moment is, what game it is, it might be a Sunday in the middle of the day where there's nobody in the stands. You have to tell yourself to stay focused, to pitch, to pitch, to pitch. I think that's where it starts, not just inning to inning or player to player. It's pitch to pitch, because at any moment that ball could be hit to you. You got to know where you're gonna go in this certain area. So I think having that focus on, even when the game is slow, when the game does get intense and you're ready, you have that same level of focus that you can sink to. You don't have to get ready for an intense moment, because you've been ready from pitch one. So it's no different than being up by 20 or being down by 20. In the ninth inning when the game is tied, I want that same mentality, that same focus, that same intensity from when it was 0-0 and first pitch of the ball game.
Now, you did mention being in the right place at the right time. You having, been in the outfield, you've made some pretty incredible catches. I played outfield. Again, I was not good enough to be pro at all. I gotta say, I've never even dreamt of making a catch like some of the ones that you've made. Like what goes into, preparing for the outfield? How do you know like when you need to like dive for a ball?
hmm
And just in general, like what's the mindset that an outfielder needs to have?
For me, going into a diving catch, it's all instincts for me. I kind of just I don't like to hesitate. I kind of just like to let my body do what it wants to do. I see the ball in the air, and if my body says, "Hey, let's dive," I dive. And uh, that started all the way back in Little League. I remember when I was 10 years old, and um, when I was 9 years old, I was terrible in the outfield. Uh, it was when I first moved to Houston, and we started playing summer ball, and played on my team, and I got hit maybe three balls to me in the outfield, and he just rolled under my glove. Like they were ground balls, they weren't even fly balls, and he just rolled under my glove. And of course, get in the car, and my dad's like, "We got to work on this." And so I remember going to the field, just spending days after days after days, and my dad just out there just hitting balls into the sun, hitting balls sky high, hitting balls on the ground, just running around, moving, going to get. My mom yelling at me from the side to get to go catch him, and uh, till one day I went to the game, and a ball got hit, and I took off running after it, and then I always say I don't know what told me to dive or what happened. I just left my feet and I caught the ball and hit the ground. I stand up and everybody's cheering, everybody's yelling like good catch, and that feeling I had, I wanted to repeat it. And I was like, oh, I just made a diving catch. That's how you do it. And so after that, every ball that got hit in the air, it didn't matter if it was a routine, fly ball. I would sit in the back. I would wait till it was about to hit the ground and run and dive for it because I wanted to recreate it. So I think doing that as a young kid, and all of that is just finding out your limits, finding out what you can do to where now I know what I can do and I know what I can't do. And sometimes I surprise myself. But that's that no hesitation. Just let your body flow, let your mind flow in the game. And if that ball's in the air, hey, I don't want it to hit the ground. Go get it, no matter where it's at. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, hey, that's awesome. Cause I mean, that's incredible that your dad and your mom, I mean, obviously, moms are our worst critic,
hmm
yeah, I mean, that's an incredible story. I really like that. Let's flip to the other side of this, hitting. What goes into the mindset of hitting against, professional baseball
hmm
players or, pitchers. I mean, these guys are nasty. I mean, some of
Oh
your
yeah.
teammates, like, I mean, Noah Dean, he's also going to be on this series a little bit later. I know that he
hmm
led the league in whiff. I mean, just watching him pitch, I mean, he would throw one and it would break like 6 inches. Like, I mean, it's
Right.
amazing to watch. What goes into the mindset, of hitting against guys like that?
It's all in the preparation and the plan. Leading up to the at bat. Before the game, having numbers on the starting pitcher. You kind of go and you build that plan in the beginning before the game. And good. How you doing? Uh, you build that plan going into the game, and you stick to it. And then you get into the game, and everybody's different. Everybody has their cues, their mental cues on how they work, how they kind of set their body up and set their mind up for success. And for me, I like to keep it simple. Just see ball, hit ball. I have that. I have that plan in my head. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want to do, but I can't get in the box and be I'm looking for this and this. I can't be thinking about that because before you know the ball's in the glove already. These guys throw hard. These guys throw
Yeah.
hard. They throw a lot of crazy stuff. So. Um, I like to get all that preparation done before, so when I get in the game, I keep it simple: see ball, hit ball, and you kind of, like I said, let the body go.
All right. So then we have to ask the perennial question that's asked to every outfielder. What feels better? What is like what is the preferred? Would you rather make that, game saving diving catch or hit like a grand slam to win the game?
Shoot, both of them's good because we win the game.
Right?
Both of them is good because we win the game, but I think I'll take that grand slam. That grand slam is hitting's already hard enough, So when you do get that success and you're able to contribute in a way at the plate like that, that's huge. So I think I'll take that grand slam.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, you did hit one this past year, and yeah, it was pretty great.
Mhm.
Being able to watch that in person. I mean, that it's for those that don't know, look up Salem Memorial Ballpark and look up that outfield wall because it is insane. I mean, it is
It's
it is so hard to hit it out of that ballpark. Like, I mean, unless you like the wind has to be perfect, and you're gonna
perfect.
be able to.
You gotta square it up. You gotta hit it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, um, we're finishing up now. What's kind of the hobbies and things that you like to do outside of baseball?
Yeah, outside of baseball, I mean, I'm a big gamer. I like the game. Uh, I sometimes I game too much, but
Same. I feel you.
uh, but outside of that, man, I love hunting. I love fishing. It's something about being on the water and or being in a deer stand. Something just being in nature. Just kind of just enjoying all facets of life. Kind of that. That's calming for me. And I enjoy doing that. Um, and then I really I enjoy just that family time, just being around my family and anything we do, game nights or just anything. I really enjoy just quality time with the people I love. So. Um, but also, I would say I'll go back to gaming. I love the gaming.
What's your main game? What's the go to?
Man, I love shooting games like the Call of Duties and play Fortnite when it was big back in the day. Uh, but I play a little bit of anything. I play Madden, NCAA now since they have it. I've
Right.
been playing 2K 25 a lot, a lot. I think that's the only game I've been playing right now. But it's a cycle, and I just enjoy to. Um, the guys that I play with. I play my teammates. That's how just keeping in touch with my teammates. Even when we're in the off season and road, we get on a game just to chop it up. Just to talk, just to keep in touch with my family that I don't get to see every single day. So to me, it's not all about just playing a game every single day. I kind of use that to rekindle a lot of stay in touch with a lot of the relationships that I make.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll finish it up with this. If Stanley Tucker was not a baseball player, what would he be doing?
Who? That's a tough question right there. Um, because I've always just thought of, the baseball. They always say how the backup plan, and yeah, the backup plan is there, all of that. But Stanley Tucker wasn't playing a game of baseball. I think Stanley Tucker would still be rooted in the game somewhere. I love it, and whether it's coaching children or the youth, just being involved that way, or just I honestly think I would be coaching the game. The more I'm around it, the more that I mature in the game. I really just love the how how I would say fine how fine the game is, but in a way of hitting so simple, but yet it's so complicated, and that kind of intrigues me. In a way of teaching people or what I see here, what I learned there, or just going through routines with, like I said, kids or people who's trying to take their game to the next level. I think that's the biggest thing with me. Not necessarily just coaching an entire team, but just those one-on-one connections or small group connections where we're just working. So I think I would be rooted in a game somewhere in some way or some facet.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Stanley, it was an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate you taking time to come out and talk with me. I mean, it's huge for me. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone else will appreciate it as well when we get this up and running.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we get to see you a little bit more in Salem. If not, hopefully you're up in Greenville and beyond.
Sir, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.